Hello there, Pisces. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly tarot video forecast. This is an in-depth look at your month. I do break the time frames down into 4 different sections during the month. The first 3 are actually going to be right on the weeks, and then after that the last section will be 9 days exactly. Okay, so excuse me. This first time is going to be the 1st through the 7th. I like this way of looking at a month because this gives us more of an idea about how the energies flow through, because generally the energies don't stay the same for a whole month. So that's why I do it like this. That's why I do it like this. These are general readings, meaning I'm not really choosing the topic that Spirit dwells on, if there is one that Spirit dwells on. I'm just looking at things generally for you during this time frame. And also, because it's a general reading, that means it's for a lot of people. That means that not everything is going to apply to every single Pisces who watches this video, but most of it will apply to most of you. If you want to have a more specific reading, then what you want to do is you want to get a private reading, and I'm always happy to do those. Also, a little note here for the cross-watchers. Cross-watchers, you are welcome to be on my channel and cross-watch. However, energies are not reversible when I do readings. This reading that I am looking at right now, and for the rest of this video, is for Pisces, and Pisces only. So don't look at this and go, oh, well, I'm involved with a Pisces, and I don't think they're doing that, so this must be about me. No, 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 no. This is about Pisces. If it doesn't happen to relate to your Pisces, okay, but that doesn't mean that it's yours, all right? Also, those of you who find that you don't really relate to this reading, you may want to check your rising sign or your moon sign, okay? Having said all that, let's get started, shall we? First of all, let's look at your environment. Now, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So most of the time it's home. I have had clients tell me it's work or it's school. I have had rare situations where it's actually the person's aura and their own body. So you want to have your mind kind of open as to what's going on in your environment. Right now, I don't believe that you're sharing your environment. I think that you are quite self-sufficient in the environment that I'm looking at here for you. And I feel like you are interacting with other people, and you may invite them to your environment for a short time, but then you're sending them off on their way. And I don't feel like it's with any hard feelings or anything like that. So you're collaborating with some people whenever it comes to your environment, but I don't feel like you're sharing your environment on a everyday long-term basis, okay? And I do also feel like there is some kind of decision that you're making about your environment. You may be deciding to change your environment or improve your environment, make some upgrades, or change your environment completely. Okay. Next thing that I want to look at talks to me about your subconscious leanings, Pisces. It looks to me like you are considering something that is actually over, and I think that there is still some healing that is sort of left behind for you to do. And I think in your subconscious, you're really deciding to actually do that healing so that you can let this thing go that's over. And that's what you're working on in your subconscious mind. That was pretty clear cut. All right. Next, we're looking at learning style and also communication style. What do we have? I think that you're going to be coming in contact with some information, whether you hear about it, read about it, come across it on YouTube, whatever. Information about UFOs or unidentified flying objects. And I've got to tell you, that's the first time I've ever gotten that in a reading, so that's kind of interesting to me. So UFOs show up as something that you're learning about. Maybe you're watching a documentary or Maybe you're having an actual experience. I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have here? There's a dual meaning here. I think you're going to be learning something about royalty, and you're also, this is the dual part, your second meaning, also going to be learning something about your own authority, your own power, what you have say-so over in the universe, in your life. You're going to be learning about that. And I feel like that information is going to help you have some peace. And then the other thing that I see you learning about is strength, how to strengthen yourself, maybe even how to teach other people to strengthen themselves. So this could very literally be about working out. This could be about strengthening your financial situation as well, but I feel like this is much more of a physical thing. Maybe you're learning a new exercise, or maybe you're showing other people some kind of new exercise, or some other way to become strong. Okay, communication style during this time frame. I do think that a lot of your communication is spent mirroring back to people how they communicate with you. So you may be being a little bit of a chameleon, as in, if somebody is communicating to you in one way, you may take on those types of, I don't know if I want to say personality traits, communicative personality traits, but the same manner of communication as them. So if somebody is communicating to you in an antagonistic, aggressive way, you may communicate back. You may reflect that back to them. You may be antagonistic and aggressive with them. If somebody is communicating with you in a warm and nurturing way, you may reflect that back, that warmth and that nurturing in your communication with that person. So there's a lot of reflection going on that when it comes to your communication style, this particular time frame at least. The other thing that we have going on is that as you're communicating, you are trying to put your best foot forward. There may be somebody who you are trying to impress, and you're trying to give them the best news that you can possibly give them without going against your own morality. Also in communication, I think you are going to be having some for a lot of you, leisurely communication about philosophy with somebody in your sphere of influence. So just talking about your worldview, their worldview, kind of exploring. And I feel like exploring at length, really taking the time to dig deep into ideas of philosophy with somebody in your sphere during this time frame. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about work. Work for Pisces. You're really good at what you do. That's the first thing that pops out at me, is that you're really good at what you do. You may be a little bit of a gypsy too, Pisces. You may be working at several different locations, or you may have a lot of travel involved with work. It looks to me like maybe you have been on somewhere that you've known has been temporary, or maybe you didn't know, and now you're leaving that place behind, and it's a little bit of a bittersweet thing. I think also you don't know exactly where you're going to land next. Or maybe you know where you're going to go next, but you don't know how long you'll be there. So there is that sense of some unknown information, but you're really great at what you do. I think people appreciate you wherever you go. And I do feel like there is somewhere that you are leaving behind that you may have been for a more extended period of time than usual. Okay? Let's look at inner work. So it looks to me like you've been dealing with somebody who is moody and less than honest, and I think you've been dealing with this person for a while. Let's just say a while. And I think that what's going on is you are practicing detachment in this situation, so that the things that this person says and what they do don't get to you as much as they used to get to you. So you're practicing detachment so that you can be more calm, basically. All right, Pisces. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded as we go through this time frame. I feel like you do have somebody in your sphere of influence who has had addiction problems, and what I'm hearing is right now they're beating them. I think you're having a really hard time with trusting this person. It looks like they may have a long history with you from before when they weren't beating their addiction issues, or it could be that you have encountered many people who had addiction issues that seemed like they were doing well, and then, you know, bang, the end of that happens kind of suddenly and out of the blue. So I think you're really having a big hard time actually trusting this person, and you may actually even be sort of stalking them just to make sure that the things that they're telling you are actually true. So if they're telling you about something that they've done that would normally make you proud, I think you're verifying before you're getting too proud here because of that lack of trust. You're verifying information before you say good job. All right. La da 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 da. The next thing that we're going to look at is something that you stand for. Now this position is actually influenced by the planet Mars, which means given the right situation, you could stand for this actually quite aggressively. You don't have to, though. This could be something that happened that somebody's having a conversation with you about, that they just want to understand your standpoint better. But somebody could actually be confronting you about this just as easily whenever it shows up in this position on the spread. So what we basically have is that there was a situation that you were not happy about, and so you quit talking about it because you didn't want to manifest more of that situation. So you went quiet, maybe even radio silent, but definitely quieted down about this because you knew that that was only making you manifest more of the same thing, and you don't want more of the same thing. So somebody has confronted you about this, has asked you about this, and you've defended yourself. And then how they see you after having this conversation is they see you as somebody who's disappointed, but who actually is really doing very well now. And they see you as somebody who is actually inspiring. They may be deciding to take a leaf out of your book after hearing that conversation. Most of them will. All right. Next thing that we're looking at, Pisces, is that flex period. This is the period where things start to change direction or form up a little bit differently for you during this time frame. So let's take a peek. What's going on during this time? Looks to me like there was some kind of agreement or partnership that you were involved with that had been sort of on hold for a while. And I think that it is no longer on hold. It's no longer on hold. It's no longer on the back burner. I think what's coming up is a decision one way or the other about that partnership, whether it's going to move forward or whether it's not. So no longer on hold. Huh. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it looks like there is a renewal of this partnership or of this agreement. Looks like you're coming back into a situation, and you may have had it on hold because you felt like it was depleting you before. But now you're coming back. Hopefully you have reason to believe that this can be different this time. We do see you giving that partnership or that relationship new life again. And it comes across to me that you feel like you don't have a choice. So you may have said something to this person about, you know, well, if you do this, that, or the other, then we can get back together, or then we can start working together again, or whatever the case may be. And they've met that requirement. So now I think, you know, you're feeling like you don't have a choice but to get back together with that person and give it a chance to see where it goes. What else is happening at the same time? I think there is a lot of communication going on right now, and this communication that I'm seeing here has to do with some type of long-term commitment, something that's more traditional. And I think with your communication, what you're saying is, you know what? We've already got something that's ideal and perfect and good. We don't need to do something that is traditional to have everything that we want here. Okay, so that's what's going on in your flex time. Where do we see you at the end of this week, Pisces? Let's see. Where do we see you? There's definitely some truth coming out, and that is causing some major changes for you, and also for other people around you in your sphere of influence. So some truth coming out is causing some major changes. I feel like they're positive changes, and I feel like those changes not only impact you, but also others in your sphere of influence. Okay? So that's what we have so far, Pisces. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and then we'll look at week 2. See you in a minute. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, Pisces. This time we are covering November the 8th through the 14th. Seeing what energies come up for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting thumbs ups on this video and for sharing this video with other people who may find it beneficial as well. Just a reminder, if it doesn't resonate with you, you may want to check your rising and your moon sign. A lot of people do watch all three to get a more full picture of what's going on in their lives. La da 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 da. See what we have here for Pisces for November 8th through the 14th. La da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da. Okay, Pisces, let's take a peek at your environment to start with. So this is going to be any place where you have energy or effort invested. Once again, I show that you are not sharing this environment with anybody. This is strictly up to you. And I feel like you may not be taking any responsibility in your environment. So you could be on, what is that, like an all-inclusive type of vacation, or it could be that you rent and so all the maintenance responsibilities belong to somebody else. It does look like whoever this is that is around, because there is somebody that shows up as being around, they are less than happy about the idea that you're not picking up all the responsibility in your environment. Okay. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings. Alright, so Pisces, it looks like you have thoughts that are just whirling around for you all the time. And it looks like you're having a hard time getting your brain to take a break, like day and night. And it's all kinds of different things. It's not even that you're focused on one particular issue. This energy is scattered all over the place. And I think your subconscious is working on, how do I get into a more low-key, more relaxed, more calm place with my mind? Okay, that's what we've got going on there, Aquarius. Or excuse me, Pisces. Sorry about that. I did Aquarius yesterday. La da 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 da. Okay, so Pisces. What we're looking at next is learning and communication style during this time frame. So learning first. It looks to me like you're teaching something. There's something that you know very well about, and you are teaching, giving advice, mentoring somebody in your sphere of influence. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like you may be learning something that is let's just say it has an international flavor. All right? That's going to mean different things to different ones of you, and I'm fully aware. I think it's going to be the most applicable. Now, what else do we have showing up? You are looking at new ways of getting information, new ways of compiling and analyzing information right now as well. So this could be a new app. This could be just a new way of looking at things. This could be new sources of information. But you're looking at doing something different about the way that you gather information and formulate it. Communication style. Communication style. I think there is a lot of communication coming in during this time frame. And I think it's actually, there's a lot of communication with groups rather than one-on-one. I'm seeing more with groups during this time frame, Pisces. And it looks to me like you may be communicating with somebody who is grieving or who has had some kind of major loss. And you're communicating with them, sort of giving them a shoulder to lean on, basically. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So Pisces, there's something else that comes up here that's really unique and unusual. And this talks about your communication and the idea that what you say has ripple effects out into the world. So somebody is paying attention to your communication, and some of your communication may even be broadcast to the world. Maybe, yeah, I think it may be considered controversial, whatever this is that you say that gets broadcast to the world, or whatever this is that you have written, whichever way that works out. Isn't that interesting? Alrighty, now what we're looking at talks to me about work for you, Pisces. Once again, we see that you are really good at your work. You're really good at what you do, but I don't think that you like what you do. You're definitely not enjoying it during this time frame, and it looks like you're actually manifesting more of the stuff that you don't like when it comes to work rather than the stuff that you do like. We want to focus on that. So how do you start manifesting things that you do like more than things you don't like? First, let's look at how do you start manifesting those things that you don't like. You manifest things that you don't like by focusing on things that don't make you happy. When you put your time and energy and your focus on those things, when you think about those things, when you talk about those things, when you type about those things that you don't like, you make them bigger, you give them more energy. So, to manifest some of the things that you do like, you want to spend more time focusing on the things that do make you happy. Because then you'll have more of those things that make you happy coming into your experience, and eventually those things will crowd out the other things as long as you keep your focus on the good stuff. And that's actually your inner work right now. That's your inner work. Inner work and outer work very much tied together a lot of times, and certainly this time. Okay, let's look next at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now, Pisces. Okay, so Pisces, it does look like you have been through some type of disappointment in the recent past. However, you are coming out of that. I see you coming out of that. I see you seeing light at the end of the tunnel and feeling like, okay, maybe I've made it through the worst part. Maybe things can start to lighten up now. And then right after that, we have a situation that I feel like it puts you back at square one all over again. There's something else that comes along that's disappointing, and it's disappointing enough, I think it kind of shakes you up even, but it makes you go back to the drawing board about what is going to be your plan moving forward. Next thing we're looking at, Pisces, is those things that you stand for, or that thing that you stand for. And then we're going to look at how another person views you. So, what do you stand for? Ooh, baby, baby. Alright, so you've gotten into a pretty good position. Mentally, you've gotten into a pretty good headspace about something that you were feeling sort of a pity party about. You've come to a more clear understanding about that situation. And this has to do with somebody who they showed an interest in you for a short time, and then as soon as you were pretty sure that you guys had something good to work forward with, they disappeared. Okay? And I think what's going on here is you've gotten yourself into a good mindset, and now this person, wherever they disappeared to, whatever was going on there didn't work out so well, and now they're coming back to you saying, woe is me, can you help me, can you be there for me, yada yada yada. And I think that, you know, that feels really good, it's flattering and all of that good stuff. But I think the real victory here is you being able to say, you know, you've kind of shown me your true colors, and I don't think I'm going to jump back into that river. So, not swimming in your water. Alright? So that's what we have going on there, and how this other person perceives you. This other person, and I do think it's actually this person that you're saying, no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. I think they're seeing you as somebody who is not communicating with them anymore, because I do think you're going to shut off communication after this. They are seeing you as somebody who wants something that is equilateral. You know? You want something that goes both ways. And otherwise, you've got your boundaries up. And you're not about to let somebody in who isn't going to come into a relationship with you that's a reciprocal relationship. So, I don't know. Seems to me like they've got a pretty good understanding of you. La da da da, based on the cards I had before that at least. Alright, so Pisces, flex time frame, where things start to change for you during this time. Looks to me like you are going to be taking some time where you're not doing your normal version of work, because you're going to be doing something else to bring in the money. And I think that this is going to be an original and a unique idea that you have, something that you're doing more by yourself than with somebody else. I don't see it as a collaboration. I think this is something you're doing on the side of your normal job. And I think you're taking time off from your normal job to really focus on it during this time frame at one point or another. Maybe for the whole time frame. La da 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 da. What else is going on here? Oh yeah, you've definitely got some mojo going. You may be doing some heavy-duty promotional type stuff for what you have. But definitely there's a lot of communication happening as you are working on whatever it is that you work on. La da da da. What else is happening? I feel like you've got somebody keeping an eye on you, because you're doing really well. But there's somebody keeping an eye on you. And when I say they're keeping an eye on you, I don't think they're communicating with you. I think they're just watching you. Basically stalking, seeing how you're doing. You know, they could be stalking you online, or they could be asking mutual friends about you. And I feel like they are, well, Spirit is saying they're getting it twisted. They're getting the story twisted. They see you doing well, and they're making certain assumptions because of that really are not true. But because they're not actually talking to anybody directly, there's nobody there to correct that assumption for them. So they get to walk around with that misinformation in their mind. Alright, so looking at where you are at the end of this particular week, Pisces, you're definitely not doing things in any kind of traditional way. You're doing things your way. You're kind of customizing. Anything that you're doing that would be considered tradition, I think you're customizing and making it yours. And it looks to me like you are going back to a situation that you had in the past. This could be a home, this could be a workplace, could be a relationship, could be a lot of things. But you're going back to something that you had in the past, something that made you feel depleted. You're expecting that you're going to be able to go back and things are going to be different this time. And I think that you are, as you go back at least, I think you're feeling very secure and very stable. Okay, I like the secure, stable part. Alrighty, so that wraps up week 2. Let me go ahead, take a break, reset the energy, come back, and we'll look at week 3. See you soon. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. This time what we're doing for you guys is November 15th through the 21st. Seeing what energies come up, what is going to be the influence that's around, what is going to be joyful, what could you use a heads up on so you could head it down the other pass, head it off at the pass, head it away from you. Okay, we have cards on the table, Pisces. Let's see what we have coming up for your environment during this time frame. La, da, 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 da. I think during this time frame you are allowing a lot of people into your environment. You may be doing interviews, actually. But I feel like the people that you're allowing in your environment, there's some level of disappointment with them. They're not coming in with what you expected them to or in the way that you expected them to. I'm hearing that they're not coming to you correct. Okay? And so I think where you may have been sort of looking at situations or people or your environment with rose-colored glasses, I don't think that's happening anymore. In fact, I think that you may be feeling a little bit more skeptical about people in general, if not about relationships themselves. One of the two. Okay? The next thing that we have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings. Yep, this does have to do with friends. In particular, an old friend, somebody that you've known for a long time. I don't know if you're connected with them right now, but this is somebody who comes across with masculine energy, so that means that they're going to be, in most cases, they're going to be male, or they could be a more assertive female just as easily. And I think this person is really on your mind as we're looking at your subconscious leanings, their friendship and how you guys' friendship, all the different things that you remember about this person are showing up in your subconscious during this time frame. La da 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 da. Next thing that we have coming up talks to me about learning style and also communication style. Learning style. You're picking up all kinds of good information, a variety of new information right now. So this could be curiosity leading the way, learning about music, how to make music, also learning about science, also learning about metaphysical, also learning about nature or plants. I mean, there's just a variety of things that you are learning about at the moment. And I think that I've got a second card that basically verifies and confirms that. And then I've got a third card that says that there are some things that you're learning about that make you feel good, that may be healing for you, whether we're talking emotional or physical, could be both, or either one, depending who you are and what your situation is. La, da, da, da. By the way, if you want a specific reading where I'm not just picking up, all the Pisces energies, then I do offer private readings, and you can find contact information for me on the website at the bottom of the screen. and get together with me about scheduling one. Let's look at communication style. La da 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 da. Definitely we have some things going on with feelings. There's some definite heartfelt communication happening during this time. I think there's also something going on where you're communicating about sharing something or giving something. Maybe you are calling up somebody to have them come pick up a donation from your porch or something. You know, there's some kind of communication about some kind of gift that you want to give or donation that you want to make. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. What else do we have here? Yeah, there are some things that I think you're doing without communicating at all. You're just kind of doing them behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. And I think that those things are leading to your abundance. All right, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about work. So what do we have for you guys about work? There's a lot of confusion around work. And it looks to me like you may be ending a work situation in one place and beginning a whole new work situation right now. And so this may be the confusion. The confusion might be, well, what's my last day at this old place? And what's my first day at this new place? I don't know exactly what it is, but there is a lot of a lot of confusion, and it seems to come up like in the transition point between the old place and the new place. Now, looking at inner work. Inner work is really finding enough clarity so that you can feel brave enough to begin new projects and move forward in a bold way. Clarity is the key for that, at least this time. All right, let's look at what part of your personality is growing or expanding right now. You are tired of waiting on things. Ooh, look at this. You've been kind of holding back. You've been sort of in wait and see mode. I think that you are getting tired of wait and see mode. There is something that you're attracted to. Could be a person, could be an activity, a hobby, could be a project for work. And it looks to me like whatever this is that you're attracted to, it looks like you're tired of waiting to see where it's going to go or how it's going to go. You're really focusing in on it and putting that energy and effort into it as we go through this time frame. Next thing we're looking at are those things that you stand for. This is going to be something that somebody will have had some kind of conversation with you about, possibly even a confrontation, but at least a conversation, and you felt like you had to explain yourself or defend yourself. So what do we have? It looks to me like you weren't feeling really great about yourself, like your self-confidence, your self-esteem was kind of at a low point. And then somebody showed up in your life who started paying you compliments and who started showing you their appreciation for you, which sort of changed how you saw yourself. And I think because that person showed so much appreciation for you, you and that person you have ended up becoming partners in something. You know, maybe you are accountability partners for something. Maybe you are working on some kind of event or project together. Maybe this is even a work partner, or this could even be a romantic partner, quite possibly for some of you. But anyway, there is this new partnership that's come up because somebody sort of lifted you out of not feeling good about yourself into feeling much better about yourself. La da da da. Now, how does the person who has talked to you or had this conversation with you about this feel? They feel like you're letting some things fall through the cracks and like you're really still grieving about something. And so they feel like this new partnership is one that holds a lot of toxicity, and I think they're hoping for the best for you, but at the same time they're really worried. They're seeing some warning signs that are telling them that that what's going on may not be the healthiest thing that could possibly happen. Okay? That's how their view is. All right, what's happening during your flex time during this week, Pisces? Ooh, we have you picking up some kind of new responsibilities. Being very patient as well. And this is with somebody who can be kind of moody and maybe doesn't always tell the truth. You're picking up responsibilities with them, and you're being very patient with them. Pisces, are you trying to save somebody? Are you? All right. What else do we have going on at the same time? You are setting some kind of firm foundation. I'd like to see that. Pisces, I think you're reflecting a lot and you are using your intuition. I think that there is something going on where you do need to bring in some healing into your experience. And I think you're doing that through your intuition and using that healing to sort of help set the foundation for you to move forward in a more productive way in the future. Now, looking at the other thing that we have going on during this time frame, there is definitely some transformation happening. I like that. There's some healing. And this is bringing some self-satisfaction and some happiness. We like this. This is definitely making good forward progress. Woot woot. I think you're feeling a lot better too. So that's awesome. Awesome sauce. Okay guys, let's look at where you are when we come to the end of this time frame. This is just an odd card combination that I'm looking at right now. You are feeling very happy and very satisfied with what you're accomplishing in your life right now, in spite of the fact that what's going on is not reciprocal. So this could be a relationship where it's not a two-way street, where you're more happily invested than they are. And it looks like you may be happy to have it that way. There are a lot of people out in the world who feel like if they are not doing more in the relationship, then the other person may not need them. If this is you, you might want to take a look at that. That's a solid codependent marking, and it leads to a lot of heartache in the long term. But for right now, I'm feeling you being very happy and satisfied with this non-reciprocal relationship. And there's even some fighting that's going on. So I'm not sure if this fighting is, somebody's fighting over you, somebody's fighting for you. Whatever this is that's happening though, it's not happy. Is there an ego trip happening? What's going on there with that? I'm really curious because those seem so contradictory. Typically those are contradictory cards. Alright, so anyway, that's where we see you at the end of that time frame, Pisces. Let me wrap this up and I'll see you in a couple of minutes and then we'll look at the rest of the month. Welcome back again, Pisces. This time we are looking at November the 22nd through the 30th, just to see what is going to come up as far as energy. Almost said energy for that time for you guys. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. Okay, Pisces, cards are on the table. Let's see what we have here. Looking at your environment. Okay, first thing is that your environment right now is close to your ideal, but not exactly your ideal. And I think that you are getting over some kind of disappointment around your environment. And I think that you're making some decisions about what you want to do about the fact that it is not ideal. Do you want to change it? Do you want to upgrade it? Do you want to make it different? Do you want to go into a completely different environment? Do you want to adjust to how your environment is? there's a lot of decision making that's going on here, and I think that you're not really going to come to the final decision during this time frame by the end of November. Okay? Still going to be thinking about what you want to do at that point. Subconscious leanings. What do we have happening here? It looks to me like you guys may be working on a project where you're doing some kind of research and preparing to present some information to other people, whether that's in book format, PowerPoint. Is PowerPoint even a thing now? I don't know. You know, some type of presentation that you're researching. And I think that you like doing the researching and you like making the presentation, but I think that the whole idea of putting the presentation together itself, I think, is not your favorite thing. And I think that's what we've got going on. You're doing the research and you're putting this presentation together, and your subconscious is really working on how to make that the best presentation that it can possibly be. I kind of get the sense that there are some high stakes on how this presentation is actually received. Okay. Next thing that I'm looking at is your learning style and also your communication style. I do think you're learning some finer points of something, how to do something, you know, at a very advanced level. So if this was, for example, that you were learning cake decorating, this would be, you know, the chef's master class of cake decorating. You know, if this is something that is more university or school-wise, still we're looking at, you know, this would be like getting a master's degree. But there's something that you're learning that you already know quite well. You're just adding the final finishing touches here. And I think you're also adding some of your self to this, some of your perception and ability to use this information as well as a part of your learning process. Another part of the learning process that I'm seeing during this time frame is that there's a lot of reflection going on, and I think self-reflection here, really looking at yourself from the inside out. And then there is, I think that a lot of you are getting together with other people who are learning the same thing or similar things to you, and you're sharing experiences, maybe even practicing on each other, but definitely talking about and sharing ideas and thoughts about the things that you're learning. Could even be a study group. Communication style. I do think there's a lot of curious observation going on right now for you. So a lot of your communication may be being quiet and just observing and watching. This doesn't feel like this tone type of thing. This feels like fun, like there's something you're watching and it's fun to watch it, and it's fun to learn as you're watching whatever this is that's happening. La da 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 da. Once again, we do have philosophy coming back up again here. Philosophy on this idea of why are we here? What is my life purpose personally? That type of thing comes up as a topic of conversation during this time frame. And another thing that comes up as a topic of conversation is roots and family. But not only DNA family or blood family, which I think is going to come up, but I do think we're also looking at that there's going to be a topic that comes up that has to do with the beginnings of ancient tradition or the beginnings of religion or spirituality. So there's that type of roots that's coming up as a topic of conversation as well, Pisces. Doesn't surprise me, considering you are a Pisces. Spirituality is a big part of who you are. All right, let's look at your work. So it looks like there's some kind of situation at work where there has been some fighting or some argument, debate going on. And I feel like that debate is over. It's been settled. It's been resolved. And part of that resolution is that people are detaching from each other at work. Pisces, I feel like for a lot of you, you may have been the person that was able to bring in the peace or the end of the fighting, but I feel like the parties that are detaching from each other so that they can get along, I don't feel like that's you, Pisces. I feel like you're just witnessing that part of it. But in spite of that fact, it looks to me like this is something that makes you unhappy as you're witnessing it. Looking at inner work is really about finding that inner peace, that inner calmness for yourself, and especially not relying on other people to give you peace or calmness or even pats on the back or add to your self-esteem. This is really more about you finding what works for you to bring in that peace and calmness for yourself. All right, where are you growing and expanding right now? La da 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 da. It looks to me like you're taking some downtime where you're not doing all of the normal responsibilities that you would do, and you're not taking calls from everybody that you would normally take calls from, or emails or messages. You're just not handling that right now. And it's, to me, it comes across as this is intentional. This is you intentionally taking a break from basically the hecticness of life or the hecticness of work. Yeah, and I feel like this is something that you're doing because you're feeling burnt out. And you know that if you're going to get yourself back and your energy back, you have to take some time off where you're not scattering yourself out to everybody who's in your sphere of influence. Next thing we're looking at, Pisces, is that thing that you stand for. So you're having a discussion with someone, maybe they're even confronting you about this and you're standing for it or explaining it. And then we're going to look at how that person feels about you. So there has definitely been some recovery that you've been doing, Pisces, getting over something that really shook up your world previously, and you're getting your balance back. So I'm just looking at this third card that doesn't seem to fit. What's going on here, Spirit? Yeah, you are bouncing back from something and getting your balance back, but there's somebody in your sphere of influence who's showing up who is sort of trying to draw you into a toxic situation. And somebody is, you know, saying something to you about this. Yeah, and I think that your explanation to them is something along the lines of, well, of course this person is coming back around because I'm in a balanced place, and that's what this person wishes they could do. They wish they could get into a balanced place. Okay? How this other person sees you after you have this conversation, they're seeing you as somebody who works really hard to have the things that you want. And they're feeling like this person that is coming back from the past is really not good for you, that this could draw you off track and keep you away from reaching your goals. And so, once again, we see somebody worried about you as we go through November. This is at least the second time, if not the third time already. There's only 4 time frames, so we've got at least 50% of the time that someone's worried about you. Okay, what is going on during your flex time where things are starting to shape up a little bit differently? You do have somebody coming in who's very charming, very sweet, but the problem with them is that they can be fascinated by the new, the exciting, and then when it's not new and exciting, then they go away. I think what's going on is this person is showing up in your sphere of influence. I think you've got their number. It's not making you very happy to see them, and you're kind of taking the stance of, well, let's wait and see what happens with this person. Not ready to make any decisions just yet. I'm going to hold off and see what happens. At the same time, there is another person in your sphere of influence as well, and I think you would like to move forward with this person, but things are not working out well at all. And so I think that you're kind of in this place of having a little bit of a pity party, feeling sorry for yourself because that is not working out. But I also feel like these two are tied together. This old thing that's shown back up that is very charming, that you're just kind of waiting to see how things go. I think this is also causing you to kind of keep your distance from this other person, and that's what's causing the breakdown in those interactions. What else is happening here? Yeah, it looks like you're really refusing to change, and you are definitely, this is kind of verification of what I was getting psychically. You're definitely keeping some boundaries up around this other person that is not the one that is interested in the new and then just runs away when it's not new anymore. So it looks to me like you're being enamored by this person who is very charming and sweet that you want to wait and see about. But at the same time that you're wanting to wait and see about this, you're also holding somebody else at arm's length. And I think that that is causing some serious problems in the interactions with that person. Where do we see you at the end of this month, Pisces? Oh, okay, well, we see you dealing with some kind of heartbreak, heartache. Yeah, it looks like the person that you were just kind of holding off, waiting to see, turns out that they're not willing to put any energy or effort into furthering the encounters that the two of you have, anything beyond what it was. And so you're feeling pretty dissatisfied and unhappy with this whole situation. Besides the fact of being heartbroken, I think you're also kind of angry at yourself for letting yourself be duped into that situation to start with. Okay? So that's where we see you at the end of the month. You guys know that just because I see it in the cards doesn't mean it has to happen. That's the whole point of getting a reading ahead of time and looking at it, is that you can, if you notice those energies coming in for you, then you can head them off at the pass and do something different. So that's always going to be totally up to you. And then also for those of you who feel that you need a private reading to see about what exactly is happening with you in particular, I would be happy to do that. All you have to do is contact me with the information listed at the website below, and we can get something like that scheduled for you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing. And of course, thank you to those of you who are getting private readings and private Reiki sessions from me. It is because of all of you guys at every single level of support that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. If I don't see you before the next video, I almost called it a movie, the next video, then I'll see you here in a private between now and then. Peace out, everybody.